Bees, it's Roseby here with pretty much the first video since the rebranding. But we are also here with a friend of mine, Morgan. Say hello to the bumblebees here.
Oh!
Yeah, Morgan's
What's up?
um we are doing a trans FAQ.
Yup.
I'm not sure how much more here. We're just going to get to it here. Oh wait, hold on. I just realized that's recording my screen, so I can't quite have that up. Can I? Man,
You'll stop with the voice effects now?
Wait, hold on. I think if I just, also, I was looking at memes. Okay, I think if I minimize.
What should I do with it?
Okay. I am just definitely an improvised video.
What's this one?
Okay, I think that should be good. Hold on, full screen. I can't full screen that. That's an issue. Hold on. Okay. So there are already answers on here, but I feel like Morgan and I here can answer them ourselves. Also, I noticed, but no one watching this video knows this yet, as far as I know. Who knows? But Morgan, if you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hello! I am the otherworldly.
Yeah.
And I'm a trans guy.
Yeah.
So me and Rose are opposites.
Yeah. We're going in like opposite directions, transition-wise.
Yup. Born in each other's bodies.
Okay, so, also, audience, actually, hold on, I feel like, Morgan, if you want to tell the audience preferred pronouns, you might want to, I don't know.
He, him.
Okay, so Morgan goes by he, him.
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just close out some of these tabs. I don't need all of these here. So let's, I guess, get into the FAQs, frequently asked questions. So the first one up, hold on, let me just double check. Yeah, the first one on this website is, what does transgender mean? You wanna give your response first, or should I here?
See, this is interesting because it's kind of complicated.
I mean, yeah.
But I would say transgender means that your gender identity and your sex does not match. So you were born with the wrong gender. Or sex, I suppose. And, it basically just, it causes discomfort and, emotional stress, and I guess sort of the relief for that is being transgender.
Yeah. Because, like, okay, adding on to that, a lot of less than open-minded individuals, let's put it that way,
Yep.
would say stuff like, pretty much like, why don't you just accept the way you are, or, that's a mental illness. And even if it is a mental illness, it's been proven time and time again that transition is mostly, it helps it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, of course. My therapist said so, my doctors say so, so why should I listen to Mr. Joe Blow?
Yeah. Like, people who are literally, like, their whole job is to tell, it's basically it's pretty much our whole job is basically working with up here, the mind, the brain, mental things. And yet it
Yep.
seems like people who have very little qualification, like little to no qualifications. Oof, that lighting is not good. Are trying to say otherwise, and it's like they use the argument of basic biology. Okay, but then that's like what I'd like to say middle, maybe high school. But even then, it's like basic biology only covers so much. It's like the more advanced biology, it's just, hey,
I don't think a
uh,
lot of people realize the nuances in
yeah,
biology.
I mean,
Typically, yes,
yeah,
it is true that typically people are cis and typically people are born with
yeah,
the, like, if they have male genitals, typically they might be a male gender wise as
yeah,
well, but there's a lot of nuances in biology, like intersex
yeah,
people as well. And a lot of people try to argue biology against non binary people too. And it's so ignorant because they don't even understand or even research that non binary people
yeah,
can be born with, like, you can be born with like different, like both genitals
yeah,
or neither or a mix of the two, because there are
yeah,
intersex people and there's a lot of things that are different for people. It is typical biology that we're able to defend ourselves against diseases. It's
yeah.
typical biology that we have two arms and two legs, but not everybody does.
I
So
mean, yeah. Like with that, like basic biology, okay, two arms and two legs, but then there's also people who are born without legs, without arms, sometimes without both. And it's like, sometimes people just aren't born the way they're supposed to.
I like to see sort of it as like when you
Hmm.
change your hairstyle. A lot
Yeah,
of people might be born with, like, long hair, and eventually or I mean, you're
yeah,
not born with long hair, but you
but
naturally have hair that
yeah,
grows fast. There's
yeah,
certain people who have hair that grows faster than others. And some people like to cut their hair or
yeah,
um change the color, and it makes them feel more like themselves. But a lot of
yeah,
people consider that okay. A lot of people will be like, yeah, dye your hair whatever color, it's fun. Biology, but if you're asking about biology and what humans were meant to be, then technically we should be in the middle of the woods right now cooking some
that's
chicken we
true.
killed the other night with no clothes
That's
on.
That's true as well. Like, that brings up the whole natural argument of, okay, well, the car you drive every day isn't natural. The house I'm
Exactly.
literally, the house I'm sitting in isn't natural. Heck, there's like the clownfish. Is it clownfish? I think it's the clownfish. Is one of the most like. It's a bit of a, I guess it's a popular answer, but like the clownfish literally changes gender and sex like all the time, depending,
Yeah.
or maybe not all the time, but it's so you know it,
It honestly kind of disgusts me that people try to wonder why we're not like animals. Like, um,
I mean,
I don't know,
yeah,
maybe because we're smarter than animals?
it's
I mean,
like
like, come
it
on.
brought up.
My dog is happy when I stroke her fur. Do you really want us to be like that?
I mean, that also like reminds me of a meme I saw once where it's something like, okay, like it goes something like, well, if being LGBT is natural, why don't we see it in animals? And then the person responds that, well, maybe it's because we have like more evolved brains that can comprehend things. Like, I'm over
Yeah,
here
and
questioning my existence while my cat's over there questioning how the heck to use a window.
do you
Like,
really think your dog gives any fuck about sports?
I mean,
Or
no.
your wife? Or
I
your
mean,
Christian meeting last
you're good.
Sunday? Or anything?
Uh,
And it's just like, you have to realize that you're being kind of hypocritical when you make that argument. It's
yeah.
just so hypocrisy is just the most
Yeah.
annoying thing, in my opinion. Because it's not
Possibly,
you don't have any. I mean, like you say that, like, why would you deny or not you, but people say, why would you
yeah.
deny your biology? Well, we're not. I
I mean,
understand that I am trans. I know that. I
yeah.
identify that. I'm not an idiot, and I'm also not delusional. But I'm not
Yeah.
dumb. I'm not gonna, like, prove and tell everyone that I'm cis. I understand that there's a
Yeah.
difference, but that difference is not important. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Unless you're my doctor. If you're my doctor, maybe it matters. Or if you're
Yeah.
like looking to fuck me or something. But, like, other than that, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I might have to.
There's
Oh,
a lot of the times when people make all these statements, you want to come up with an argument against it, but I also just want
yeah.
to tell these people, why do you care? If you don't
That's the
like
thing.
it, then just be quiet. I don't need you to accept it. I don't need you to give me love. I don't need you to tell me you love
Yeah.
me. I just want, if you really can't take it for some reason, that's for you to control, not me. So just
Yeah.
leave me
I
alone.
mean,
I don't need to
th-
talk to you if you're gonna be a
yeah.
jerk for no reason.
I mean, the only, like, okay, so I have two things here. So you brought up denying biology. Is someone who is blind and wears glasses, are they denying their biology? Like, is someone with a prosthetic limb, are they, like, if they were born without an arm and they get a prosthetic arm, are they denying biology?
Yeah, it's a good
Like,
point too. I
and
think we as humans should be allowed to be more advanced like that. I'm actually
yeah.
writing something for AP Seminar right now about CRISPR, and there is
Hmm.
differences in it. There is people are actually going to be able to remove diseases eventually from
Pretty
babies,
interesting.
which is good.
Yeah.
But then there's also people who are, probably
Yeah.
gonna try to use that to enforce beauty standards and stuff like that, which isn't so
Yeah.
good. But that's the thing. It's like a lot of people consider it to be a mental illness, but
Yeah.
when that mental illness is cured, it's cured in different ways than other mental illnesses. If
Yeah.
someone is, trigger warning, suicidal, you're not gonna tell them to go up with that and do,
Yeah.
the yeah.
If someone
But
is having those type, if someone is like that, you don't just like go say, "Hey, why? There's this nice, really nice building over there. Why don't you go over there and do that?" Like,
yeah,
you don't
exactly. But
really,
but
yeah,
being depressed and that stuff is a completely different thing. And a lot of people
yeah,
don't realize that, and a lot of people make these comparisons that are like comparing apples to oranges, which is a logical fallacy. And I don't think people even, like, they want to believe that every argument they have is correct and that they have a standpoint, but so many people have forgotten basic English and basic fallacies that I learned and took tests on. Like, come on, people, you can't be
like,
that stupid.
no. Like they them pronouns. People are like saying, "Oh no, that's singular," or no, opposite. That's for a plural, and it's like
I actually saw
they
a
them
comment the other day.
pronouns.
I saw a
How
comment
could
the other day where someone was
yeah,
upset about someone being demi
wow,
boy for no reason at all in some
yeah,
reply section, and they said, what are their pronouns? Because I'm only gonna call them by he or she. I was like, oh, this fucking idiot really just did that. You
oh,
really just did
dude,
that. I was like,
no.
you really just contradicted yourself, dude. Well done.
It's like, okay, they are acting like kindergarteners, and hopefully, like kindergarteners, we can teach them how to actually act. But no,
We would
hopeful
be able to
optimism,
teach them
a
how
little
to
bit of
act if people,
optimism.
if the
Bit of
adults would
optimism.
actually let us.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of optimism there, and I am moving some things around over there. Uh, but you know, we should probably see what's the
Move on
next.
to the next question.
Yeah,
I got a little
how?
carried away.
Okay. This one is, how is sexual orientation different from gender identity? So, actually, saying that I haven't yet announced this on my channel, this is a bit of an announcement. A couple months back, closer to Valentine's Day, I made a video saying that I am a trans lesbian, and that wasn't, I finding out more that I'm more like more pan. This is why I always make videos like
I'm
that. I
applauding,
do.
but my mic isn't picking it up.
Oh wait, I heard it a little. So yay! Another coming out video. This is
Yay!
like the third one since the creation of this channel. That was somewhat of a neat little, I guess, segue. Um,
So I'm bi and trans,
yeah,
and you're pan and trans.
yeah,
Um, Also, side note, I am bi, but that does not mean I don't date bi people. Thank you.
yeah. NBs. Like for
Wait, is it
me,
pronounced NB?
that's how I always hear it is NB. Kind of
Really?
spelled like
I've been.
ENBY, but
Have I been
uh,
wrong this whole time? Because I've always said bi.
maybe.
Oh,
Who
that's awkward.
knows? And it's like, well, I'll probably put it on screen here. The more you know.
Well, I'm an
uh,
idiot.
uh,
Yeah, so I think this one's kind of self explanatory. Like,
yeah,
sexual orientation is based on what genders you're interested in,
yeah,
dating romantically and sexually, and then
uh-huh.
gender identity is like who you identify as,
Yeah.
or
Like,
what
a lot
gender
of
you
people
identify
like
as.
to say that, like, trans lesbians, or I believe the word that's currently being used is, like, transbians or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people like to say, oh, they're just, like, straight dudes, and it's like, no, honey, no. Like,
A lot of people get
no.
mad when a straight guy dates a trans woman, and I'm just like, why?
Oh
Why do
my
you care?
god.
If he calls
I mean,
himself straight, why do you care?
it's one of those things of like, why is it your business to tell someone that they're gay for dating a woman? It's
It
like,
doesn't really matter to them. Why do they
it's
even
like,
care? That guy's like sexual orientation has literally not one effect on your life.
yeah, like, what does it really matter? Like, like, okay,
If you want to
like,
be, if you want to say that you are an actual unicorn, it literally does not affect me at all. Okay? So
it's
it
like,
does not matter. A single word someone calls himself has literally nothing to do with you. Unless they're doing it
yeah,
to be insulting, like calling themselves something that's just entirely wrong, like
yeah,
completely off the rockers, like offensive, like if they call themselves
yeah,
like probably like a naughty word or like a slur or something, then
yeah.
maybe don't do that. But like,
I mean, yeah. Also, the attack helicopter joke. Oh my god, that joke is
yeah.
new.
I mean,
I
obviously, if you're using your joke to be offensive, I mean, if you're using
yeah,
an identifier to be offensive, like, that's obviously a different thing. But
yeah,
I mean, and then there's a lot of people who say, like, well, you're not just gonna go around as a white person saying that you're black, and it's like, well, that's a completely different thing, also.
yeah.
So,
I mean,
again, you're
there was
comparing
the
apples to
yeah,
oranges, so, I mean, it's like I can go around saying I'm a goddamn dog, but that is not the same thing. People need to
yeah.
realize that life is full of different things.
Like, okay, I believe transracial was a thing going for a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
even
a
know if
little
that's
bit
still going
crazy.
on. Yeah, like,
That's a
okay,
different thing though. We don't we
yeah,
don't we don't like that those things, okay? We're not
yeah,
changing our race, all right? It's not that deep.
yeah. It's
We're
like,
changing
okay,
something that only affects
yeah,
us. And I think that's the difference really mainly is that race is a communal thing. Race is a genetic thing that goes along your
yeah,
whole history that you can't change your whole history, but you can change your own body. You can change your own
yeah,
identity because it's up to you. Your identity is yours. Your race is not, I mean, it is yours, but it's also your whole
yeah,
family's and your whole bloodline. So it's something that you're sharing in a whole family tree, you can't really break that. You can't
Yeah.
really take that away, and you can't really change that because it is a whole family line. But a gender
Yeah.
is your own body and your own person, and it
I
doesn't
mean,
affect anybody else.
yeah.
And it doesn't have to do with anybody else. Like your parents didn't like give you the gene of being a male or female because most
Yeah.
most
Well,
likely
at
they're
least not,
both,
you know.
and also because it's just random, and
Yeah.
I think it's
I mean,
like
like,
the
not
sort of
really,
thing that people don't really consider is that like those are completely different things.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm a full screen here.
And false
Um,
analogy is actually a
let's
logical
think it's like, hold on.
fallacy that I learned in AP language, which by the
Yeah.
way I got a 5 on. So
Yeah.
argue me if you want, but my teacher can tell you otherwise. So
uh, but, like, there's also, God, what I was gonna say now.
yeah, sorry
um,
about that.
it's fine. You know, I feel like, this makes it at least a bit more interesting with us just, like, talking. But, what was I gonna say? Well, let's actually see what the next question is here. Before.
You know
Okay,
what? I think I'll let you talk a little bit more now.
okay. What does non-binary mean, and is it different from being transgender? Well, for starters, transgender is an umbrella term, meaning that it could mean a couple of different things, because gender is not binary. Heck, not even sex is completely binary, as proven with intersex people. Like,
Yep.
heck, day and night are really, there's very few binaries. Like,
The
in this
people
world,
who
day and
say
night
the people who
isn't
say that there's only
binary.
girls and boys are really dumb.
Yeah,
Those
like,
people are
there,
really dumb.
yeah. There's very little binaries. Like, day and night,
Yeah.
not binary. There's stuff in between that.
Yep.
Black and white, not binary. Good,
Nope.
bad, not binary.
Nope.
So, like, you know,
Welcome to
I,
life.
yeah. It's like, where's the exit button for this awful game? But,
Yeah, if you
uh, what?
if you want binary, go get a computer.
Yeah. It's like, if you want binary, go get a computer. Beep boop, beep boop.
Exactly. But then a computer has
Um,
no gender, so then you're kind of confused. Is a computer
yeah.
binary or non-binary?
Oh
And I'll
my
throw
god.
myself into a loop with that one forever. The world's greatest,
Um,
the world's greatest paradox.
yeah. But to, I guess, try and answer the question, I feel like non-binary is still transgender, but it's a little different. Like, it's under the transgender umbrella, because transgender just means your gender up here doesn't match with with what you were assigned down there. I'm sitting, but
Yeah.
still.
I think it's really interesting because um
So,
when I came out,
I'd
my
say,
parents actually like
uh-huh.
told me that there were certain things that I did that seemed more masculine, and it confused them
Oh god.
because my parents were talking about how there's certain things that sisters
Yeah.
do that me and my little sister did not do, and that they
Hmm.
were wondering why that was different. Um, and one
I
thing
mean,
that my mom thought was really strange is that my voice cracks a lot. And
really.
it cracked for a long time before anything, so it was like
Hmm.
it's just kind of weird how much my voice cracks.
Yeah.
My mom was saying that it was kind of unusual for me.
Hmm. Like, I remember, like, well, I don't remember. Heck, I didn't even notice. Like, I remember there were times where I did this, but I didn't know it was off that often. I didn't remember doing it off too often. But there's a lot of times, like, when I was, I think, closer to about, like, 3, I think, where I would like go and put my mom's shoes on. I think I even got a little mad one time because I couldn't wear my grandmother's shoes. So yeah, that's just um fun little facts about Baby Rose. It's
I
just
always I always fought and got in arguments with girls. I always
yeah.
disagreed with girls and got in
I
arguments with
mean
them, and then when I met
yeah.
guys, I
Yeah.
in younger school really more so, but in like elementary school, most of the time, and further out before people were really mature enough to not care so much. But
Yeah.
at the time when that sort of binary is very strong, um,
Yeah.
I was not getting along with girls at all, like at all.
Yeah.
I would fight with them all the time. They would always confuse me because I didn't get girly stuff. I didn't get the whole
Yeah.
behavior. I never did the catty, the arguing, the stuff that a lot of the younger
Yeah.
girls did, or not all of them, but most of them,
Yeah.
the very standard girls. I don't mean to say this in a in a rude way, but like, like
Uh-huh.
the girls that are just sort of mean, I guess. Like
Stereotypical?
I guess so. The typical girls in
Yeah.
elementary school and middle school, what you'd expect, um, the sort of mean girls to kind of be like, or
Uh,
the popular girls, or the just
yeah.
yeah, those kind of girls. Cause I don't want to enforce stereotypes, but just the people who I ran into really,
Yeah.
were very like those kind of girls who do all this sort of, I guess there's a lot of mind games that's not really like bad, but just not really something I ever understood because I was just different.
Yeah.
And and obviously I realize now
There's
why, because it's just not
yeah.
the same identity, And there
Yeah.
was a lot of guys who were my friends in younger grades who I got along with way better, and we seemed to like actually
Like
connect in a different way.
yeah.
Um,
Like
and
for
then there
me
was
a lot of
yeah,
times for me I always like hung around with the other girls at some of the older schools I went to. So, I was always like hanging around I think there's like this group. It was like me and like three others. I think I had like one guy friend at that school. Hold on, I need to plug in my computer. It's like, it's dying here. Here's hoping that the recording didn't stop. Yeah, the recording's still going. I was gonna be kind of upset if it stopped. Not going to I. Okay. No, get that off my screen. But like, but I would say, going back to the question here, what does non-binary mean, and
oh
is it
yeah, the
different from being
question.
transgender? Non-binary just
I think
means you're
non-binary, yeah,
not. It just means you're not a boy or a girl. Like that could be
yeah.
gender fluid. I feel like gender fluid is kind of like, so in my mind, like non-binary is also kind of like an umbrella term in itself.
Oh yeah, it
Because like
definitely
you
is.
got non-binary, and then you got
You got
um
non-binary, and then you got under non-binary.
like
You got like
gender.
a gender, demi boy, demi
Yeah.
girl, gender fluid, all that stuff, and it
So
all ties together and
yeah,
stuff.
I'd say there's like as many gender identities as there are people on this planet, because everyone expresses their gender differently. You know,
Exactly.
there's
A
like
lot of
you
people,
know
a lot of people make the argument that woman is someone with woman body parts, but there's a lot of women who don't have boobs and don't have
yeah,
female genitalia, because there's a lot of
like
defects in people's bodies. Because
yeah,
remember what I said? Life is full of nuances. And guess what? There's a
yeah,
lot of women who don't really care about the whole giving birth to babies part. There's a lot of women who
yeah,
don't care about the boobs part. There's a lot of women who don't really consider their female identity as being their body parts,
yeah.
And honestly,
Like
saying that is a
my
little bit degrading.
like my mom, she was AFAB cis. But after my younger sister was born, she like no, she is it vasect what is it vasectomy? I think is that the surgery where it's like where you no longer are able to,
Exactly.
have. Yeah. And she doesn't have a uterus anymore. So is she no longer a
Is she
woman?
not a
Because,
woman anymore? Oh
yeah.
no! Then what is she?
Like,
You know,
it's
I
like,
mean,
you know,
you can't really say that because it just doesn't. I mean,
yeah.
for one, it doesn't matter. And two, it's degrading. Are you saying that women are
Yeah.
just for making babies? And three,
I mean, some of them probably. It's like some of the people who are really transphobic are probably saying that, honestly.
but
But it's
why? Why
also,
do women say that? Why do TERFs say that? Why do they want to
I
say
mean, yeah,
that
like
women are just for giving birth to
turfs.
babies when that's literally what, like, feminism is
Like
trying to fight?
it's like turfs. Uh, I'm pretty sure, like from what I've been seeing now, are more likely to like stand with a transphobic or a misogynistic transphobe than a feminist or a trans feminist. Which it's kind of sad because their whole thing is being a feminist, which I don't really agree with how like okay, you're a feminist, but also like you're excluding this whole group of women over there. But their whole thing is they're supposed to be feminists, but then they're also trans exclusionary. So it's like, okay, I see. You definitely did not have your priorities in check there when you're like siding with a
Yeah.
misogynistic transphobe than a trans feminist.
Another thing I just want to mention, do people forget that, like, surgery exists? Like, a lot of
I
people
mean,
say
yeah,
trans people, like, are just, like, dressing up as, like, do they not realize that there's,
yeah,
like, hormone therapy and, like, surgery that
yeah.
people go through too?
I
Like,
actually have an appointment on the 3rd, so
yay!
hopefully, yay! I'm excited.
Yay!
There's the fast forward button
You know,
and
I
like,
like to think that the people who say that,
yeah,
I don't think they understand that it's a process. Definitely think that women should have the right to do what they want with their
yeah,
bodies, which
I,
includes getting rid of a baby
yeah,
inside of them that they did not want to have.
okay. The next question will be a fairly easy one, but I also want to talk a bit more like, hold on, thinking here, okay, so, I forgot what I was gonna say now. No, let's just move on to the next thing, and if I remember, I'll bring it
What
up.
name and pronoun?
Yeah, what name and pronoun?
I can answer this in just
Shouldn't it
one
be
sentence.
pronouns? Yeah. It's
I can
like the
answer this in one
ones.
sentence.
Yeah.
Just ask me.
I mean, yeah, that too, but also, like, okay, if I, like, say, hey, I'd rather be called Rosalind and go by she, her,
Then that's what you
there's your
use.
answer. It's like,
Here
there's
you
your
go.
answer right there.
Alright, move along. Who's next?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, come on, don't
But,
hold up the
like,
line.
yeah. There's also, like, this thing of, like, talking about, like, a trans person's past and dead naming and misgendering them. Which, to me, is, no. Because whether people choose to see it that way or not, they were always, like, that was, like, they were always, like, how should I put this? Like, to me it just doesn't seem right. Like, you know,
Again, I think
because
it
it's,
depends on who you are. Are you some random guy?
yeah,
No. Or girl,
it's
or
like,
anybody. You don't need to
it's
tell
like,
me about my dead
yeah,
name or my birth. You don't need to know that because it's not
yeah,
about you. But if you're my doctor, then yeah, you kind of need to. But, that's
it's
different.
like, okay, if a trans person shares their dead name with you, don't go about spreading that. Like, that could be dangerous if it gets to the wrong people.
I
Like,
like to think of it as sort of, somebody, like, if you have somebody who was, in a severe car accident or something
yeah,
and had severe trauma from that, I highly doubt you would want to talk about that with anybody around
yeah,
them because obviously it's not a good thing to talk about. Is it true? Did it happen? Yeah. But is it really very nice to like tell everybody around it with them around so that they
Yeah,
can think about it. Like,
no,
no, it's just like common sense,
no.
people.
Like,
Common self, like respect people.
it's like common
Whatever happened to
sense is a thing
respect?
that some. Yeah, what did happen to that? But I was gonna say, common sense seems to be something that people sometimes don't know how to use or just don't have. like, uh,
Exactly.
eesh. But like, it's just also that's something I was wanting to bring up. There's this whole thing of like, should trans people be allowed to play in sports that matches with their gender identity?
That's
Like,
really
there's
complicated.
yeah, like for trans women, I don't like after being on HRT for long enough, they don't really have that
Exactly, yeah.
advantage from testosterone because they are now have because they are have a typical um cis um hormone level.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people
So
forget that. Also, there's
yeah,
plenty of women who are stronger than plenty of guys, too, and could easily
yeah,
take down a guy, because there's a lot of women who bodybuild, and then there's a lot of guys who don't bodybuild or take care of their bodies at all, so
yeah,
there's gonna be women who can take certain men's down.
yeah,
Certain men down.
yeah,
So I don't think a lot of people see that as well, and I think it shouldn't be,
yeah,
because there's women with advantages, too, you know, think about a woman who's like
yeah,
6 foot in a females
yeah.
basketball league. Obviously, she's gonna have an advantage, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, are you gonna
But
kick
there's
her out?
also
No, you're not.
no.
So
There's also the thing of like, okay, if like with the advantage talk, okay, say someone was born with longer legs, or like, or someone who could hold their breath for longer, or someone who could breathe better. Like it's like humans as a species are so diverse that there are people who are bound. There are like people who are going to have an advantage over one another, whether they're like whether cis or trans. There, there's just so many different humans that they're going. There's always going to be that person who is better at something.
exactly. You know, there's people who are just naturally gifted in certain things, and
Yeah,
sometimes you just have to deal with an advantage. You know, I mean,
yeah,
like how many trans people are in sports? Not that many. You know, it's not
yeah,
like they're gonna take over and destroy all the women's sports.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, come on, use your
Yeah.
mind.
It's like, use your brain for more than 2 seconds.
It's just people over
Like,
dramatize everything, and it's
yeah,
like we need to stop. We need to stop caring so much. We need to stop. Um, what my therapist tells me is don't do a self prophecy. Don't predict the future so much. Don't
yeah,
assume the worst thing immediately. Wait till it happens, or
yeah,
wait till you know it'll happen, or, you know, obviously you want to be safe. You know, you don't want to wait until you
yeah,
are in the situation to where it's like difficult to deal with when you could have prevented it.
yeah,
But a lot of the time, these situations are completely irrational, and
yeah,
dealing with that comes with, you know, you have to consider, is there really evidence to support this?
yeah.
Not
But
really.
on a on a similar note, there's also like, um, on a similar note of like trying to restrict what trans people do, the bathroom. It's like some people think that trans women would go into the women's bathroom and do some things that I do not want to name on video
You know what I want to say to
to
people
some
who
the
say
other
that?
women, and that it's
You want to
like,
know? I want to say something to everybody in the world who thinks that a trans woman is going to come in the bathroom and do bad things to you. Do you know what I want to say to you? The whole world does not revolve around you. Guess
I
what?
mean, yeah,
A lot of the time, a trans woman just wants to go to the goddamn bathroom and has
yeah,
no care at all
yeah.
about you or your body. So please, just
It's
mind your own
like,
business, because that's all people are doing. So please stop thinking that everybody cares so much about you, because I don't,
Yeah.
and I don't think any of the people you've seen around you in public care either. Spoiler
It's
alert,
like
the world is
it's
not
like
all about
from
you, Karen.
Karen. Like from like to me it's like okay, so people who aren't really comfortable with their junk are just going to go around and use it in public. It's just it's just dumb to me where it's like yes, someone who is not very comfortable about the junk below the waist is going to go around and try to use it on with other people. It's like okay, maybe there's some people who like would be more who are more comfortable with down there. There are some people who absolutely like hate and are really uncomfortable about downstairs. Let's say it like that. But it's to me like it's just like we just want to use the bathroom and get on with our day. Like, come on.
Yeah, this is the really nice benefit of having some family bathrooms. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like,
I
because I
mean,
understand maybe if people are just uncomfortable. I mean, I don't think you should be uncomfortable, but some people might be. And I
yeah,
guess I can be like, fine, whatever. I guess it makes sense. I mean, fine, we
yeah,
don't have the same body, whatever. Maybe some people are insecure about their own parts that they don't want somebody with
yeah,
different parts seeing. I can sort of understand that. I think it's like it's not
yeah.
really about you, so I don't know why you should care
Mm,
so much. But that's the nice thing about having a family restroom. It's like I can just avoid all that, and so I think more
yeah, I
places should
mean,
have that because I mean the
yeah.
family restroom is there for a reason. I don't know exactly the reason. Is it because like women with kids can't leave their kids alone, but oftentimes they might have kids of other genders, so
I
that
mean,
they'll
yeah,
take
that's
them
what
into
I
the
would.
family
I
restroom,
think that's
or is
it.
it for women with babies,
What I think.
like with
I
big
think that
strollers?
it's. I mean, it might be the first and second. It might be both. But like the cool thing about the school I go to, they have gender neutral bathrooms, at least for the middle and high schoolers.
My school actually has a
So,
locked gender neutral bathroom, so
huh,
I actually have a key, and certain people can get keys, so that the bathroom is there for them at all times, and it's not
yeah,
crowded by other people who just want to use it to like do makeup or something. So it's actually really
yeah,
nice because it's never gonna be busy. It's also super clean, and it's also just for
yeah,
the people who need it too. Which
yeah,
obviously you're not gonna do everywhere, like in public. If you're gonna have
yeah,
a a neutral bathroom, you're gonna let anybody use it. But at a
yeah,
school setting, I can sort of see where that could be helpful because there are some people who might take
yeah,
advantage of that, like some girls who
yeah,
go in there and just do their makeup for 5 hours, or
yeah,
guys who will go in there and be dumb. And then there could be people who take. I mean, there's a lot of people who say that if there's a gender neutral bathroom, people will attack each other because they'll claim that they're gender neutral and then they'll go in there. But one thing I don't understand is that do people think that gender neutral bathrooms have like stalls? Do they not know that there's like just room bathrooms?
like,
Like
are, like, my, like,
they come up with these
for,
crazy scenarios. They're like, and then there's the bathroom stalls, and then I saw one people that were talking like one gender on the one side and then the other on the other side. I'm like, wait a minute, that defeats the whole purpose. And then they were like, but that wouldn't work because people would. I'm like, oh my god, do you know that gender neutral bathrooms already exist?
or, like, it's like, and some people, I'm starting to question if they think that there's, like, no stalls, or, like, are just, like, queer see-through stalls, like, what?
Also, yeah, like I
Or,
feel
like,
like whenever I
or
walk
just,
in a
like, a
bathroom,
toilet, or just, like, a toilet, just out in the open, like,
yeah, when you walk into the bathroom, I don't see people just like
yeah,
bare naked, stripping everything in the middle of
yeah,
the bathroom. Like usually it's pretty private in the stalls, so
yeah,
I know things can happen in places
mm-hmm,
like that. Especially locker rooms would be the one place
yeah,
I would think of being more of an issue, maybe. But
yeah,
also, people of the same gender can harass each other too.
yeah,
Men can harass men, and women can harass a woman. So
yeah,
you're still
it's
not
like,
going to prevent that entirely.
Yeah, I mean, no one said that the transphobes were particularly smart. I'm still
Nope,
trying to
they're
come
really
up with
not.
an alternative. It's like, just, and then they always like to use the thing of science, even though science is actually on the side of trans people most of the time. And it's like a few things, but those are like 90% sure that those ones are more biased. So,
You know what
it's
science
just,
is in favor of? Science is in favor of uncertainty, and science is
I
in
mean,
favor of
yeah.
nuance, which means that science is never going to guarantee anything.
I
So
mean,
please leave me
yeah.
alone, Karen.
It's like, oh god. Like, okay, hold on. What's actually the next question? I kind of got a bit
You know,
sidetracked
I
there.
keep getting off on tangents, and I,
Uh,
I, I apologize if
it's
I talk
fine.
too much.
It's fine. Actually, I feel like it makes this more interesting and kind of fun. How do
Yeah,
I
I,
treat a
I,
transgender person with respect is the next question. And this one actually does not really, it shows, it gives another wink. But I'm not gonna click the wink because we're gonna answer this ourselves here.
I'd say just
It,
treat me like everyone else.
I mean, yeah, don't like, it's like, to don't misgender or dead name. I feel like that's when, like, armies don't do it on purpose. Like, if you
Of
slip up,
course, of
okay.
course, yeah, of
Like,
course.
humans aren't perfect. We're not perfect. No one's perfect.
I actually misgendered
But, like,
myself once, and I wanted to cry.
oh my god, it took me, like, I dead named myself a surprising amount in my own head, and I'm like, no.
It's just, it was like when I was really
uh,
tired, so.
yeah,
I mean, people do that with cis people too. They'll be like, he,
yeah.
she, it, what, I'm tired, you know who you are. You know, my mom does it all the time.
uh,
Oh, hold on.
I mean, huh, okay.
Sorry.
Alright.
So yeah, honestly,
Um,
just like, uh-oh.
it's like, don't be purposefully, like, just don't be a jerk. Like, don't purposefully go around dead naming and misgendering and, like, just don't be a jerk. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, um, yeah, that one's kind of a bit of a quick. Oh, hold on, I actually muted. That one was
Yeah,
kind of a
honestly, I
quick
just kind
question.
of don't want to be so weird and out of the ordinary. Like my whole
Yeah,
personality is not me being trans. So like I don't
yeah,
need people to be super excessive about it either.
yeah,
Like there's people who are disrespectful because they're just straight up discriminatory. But then there's people who
yeah,
are like overdoing it. Like this is my trans friend.
yeah,
Guess what? He's trans. Guess what? This is going on. You're trans. Oh my god. You know, it's like I
yeah.
just want to be like
It's
everyone
like,
else. Like just
you know,
I love it, but like sometimes I feel like
yeah,
it's like I just kind of want to be in the world
mm-hmm,
just like everyone else is, you know?
yeah. Like,
Like just
for me, it's a thing
consider me
of,
a
like,
guy, you know.
yeah, I feel like for me, it's a thing of, yeah, I have quite a bit of, like, trans themed, like, this bracelet here. It's like trans themed. I literally was gonna paint my nails earlier, the trans flag, but for me, it's a thing of, like, showing pride. Like,
Yeah.
for me, it's a thing of, wanting to be prideful of that. Like,
Yeah.
not wanting that to be necessarily hidden. Like, you know, but,
I will say you look very lovely right now.
yay, thank you. Actually, literally just got. I had a lipstick exactly like this, but I lost it, and I got a replacement today, as well as a couple other ones. Oh, hey, you could actually see the nail polishes over there. But yeah, it's not going on as well as I hoped it would. It's
It's nice.
it's purple, as you could probably see. Um, but I also got a couple watercolors. The next question is, why is transgender equality important? I mean, besides
Because we're human.
I mean, yeah, it's like every time, like, if I like, someone should make this a TikTok if they actually have TikTok. I don't want TikTok. The TikTok can stay like 50 miles away from me. Like, I'll watch some, like, TikToks on YouTube, but,
I have
like,
TikTok, but I can't make my feed good.
uh,
I need
like,
help. I'm on the wrong side of TikTok. Please help me. It's terrible.
send help. Morgan
Send
has been
help.
lost. Morgan's
I am
lost on the other
lost.
side of TikTok, and
This is the worst
he
side of
needs to
TikTok.
be.
Why is this the first place people send people? Or TikTok sends people.
uh, but frick, like this idea for a TikTok popped in my head, where it's like transphobes saying something transphobic, and then it's just like that part of the song. I don't remember what song it is. I might try and throw in a little clip here, where it says something like, "Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too?"
Oh yeah, I remember that song.
Yeah, I've heard it on the radio a couple different times because my headphones can hook up to the. I keep saying
Yeah,
hook
it's
up, but
cool.
I can listen to the radio on here.
Oh, it's cool.
Um, yeah, but like,
Yeah, this
it's
article
like
here
we're
makes good
human.
points.
It's like we're human, just like
Yeah.
it's like okay, we're not like. There's also a thing of like they think we're getting special rights or some shit. It's like no, honey, no,
Those are the
it's
kind of
like
people who
honey,
say all like
no.
those are the kind of people who say that there should be straight in the LGBTQ flag. Like, then what would be the point? What
It's
would be
like
the
hold
point of
on.
LGBTQ if there was straight in it? It would
Or
literally
like
mean nothing.
allies being part of LGBTQ. That reminded me. It's slightly it's kind of unrelated, but also
I
it's like
love out if
allies being in the LGBT acronym. When it's like by definition, an ally is not part of the LGBT community.
well, it's like
Literally
I don't
by
think people
definition.
understand that it's like an identifier. It's not like a
Yeah,
like a title of excellency. And if you are not
yeah.
in the LGBTQ letters, then you are a peasant. It's
It's
like
like
no, it's just an
no.
identifier. You know,
It's like
those
I
people are
mean,
doing the
if
exact same.
everyone it's like if everyone who was in the LGBTQ community became royalty just by coming out, then I feel like there'd be a lot more royalty around.
Yep.
Like,
It's
like
funny
there'd be
because
a
when
lot
people
more
say
trans people. Uh,
it just doesn't really make any sense because it's like we're
yeah,
not doing anything to you by being saying we're LGBTQ without you. Like we're not saying that you're bad for being straight. We're just saying that we're different, and this is how we
yeah,
identify that we're not the majority because straight and
yeah.
cis is the majority, and so when you're a
Yeah.
minority, it's like we want to be able to make it. It's like this is how you
Yeah.
identify the minority. So why would we put the majority in the minority? That doesn't really make any sense. Because if you put straight into LGBTQ, then what does LGBTQ mean? It just literally means everyone. Like if you put straight in it, that's literally everyone. So it literally means nothing.
Or actually, cis and straight. Like, if you were to add
Yeah,
both of
yeah.
those in, pretty much everyone would be into LGBT. Also, there's this little thing of trying to add a P to LGBTQ, which I was hoping would have been for pan, but sadly that was not the case. I'm
Wait,
not going to
what's
get
it
into
for then?
detail about that. Um, a not so great thing that, just leave it at
What?
that. I'm not one.
You're gonna have to DM me what it is later.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. But
Yeah, a lot of people also like gender identity and sexual orientation does include cis and straight, but LGBTQ doesn't because it represents the minority of those.
yeah,
So and also there's a lot of people who are straight who say, "Why can't I have straight pride? Why isn't there a straight month? Why isn't there a straight white cis
like
person month?" It's like there's also a lot of
they
people who say, "Why have
do.
an LGBTQ month and not a military month?" It's like, "Oh, hello, there are military months. You just don't celebrate
It's
it."
like
And
hold
also,
on, hold.
guess what? There's 11 other months. What?
It's like the straights are over there like, no, why don't we get our own month? And it's like, you have 11 other months, please, leave our 1 month alone. It's like, please, just leave our month alone. You have the other 11 to freaking do whatever with.
The reason we have pride is
Oh, hold
because
on.
we've been discriminated against. We have
Yeah.
fought in history. We have tried so hard to get the
But
same rights that the majority group
yeah,
of people have that we don't have, which we
yeah,
deserve, you know, and it was a struggle. And so the people who don't
yeah,
struggle, who say that they should have that too, are selfish.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because you
But
don't, you don't, I mean,
what even was
it's
it?
just like, you know
Oh,
what I like to imagine? If you think of like a kid who's
okay.
like has low income, right? And somebody
Yeah,
comes up to that kid and says, "You know what? I'm going to donate to you. You know, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you some money.
yeah,
I'm going to take care of you and give you some help, you know?" And that kid is thankful.
yeah.
And then imagine Mr. or Mrs. or whatever, young little
Mixer.
blonde rich
Yeah.
person, you know, young little rich kid with their very rich parents in the huge mansion with a private helicopter sits there and jumping up and down going, "I want
Oh,
some too!" You know? That's exactly what it is. It's like you don't need it because
yeah,
you already get it. You know, you get that.
yeah,
You don't need that charity because you're in a place where you can provide for yourself. The charity is for
yeah,
people who are in worser places. I mean, it's like asking
yeah.
for my Adderall if you're neurotypical. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But also that was the last question on there. Do you have anything else you want to talk about for a bit? If not, we could end off the video here.
One more thing I would like to say is that if you're
Mm-hmm.
straight and cis or whatever, and you're just saying, "Why can't I celebrate myself?" Guess what? No one ever said you couldn't. Go ahead and
Say,
go to an LGBTQ Pride Parade in June. Go ahead and be proud of yourself for what you are. I don't care. I don't care if you go to a
just
Pride Parade and say, "I'm straight, woohoo." You know, it's like, it doesn't affect me. And as long as you're not going there to be a jerk to everyone else and saying, "I'm straight," and you're not loser, you know, don't do that, obviously. But if
yeah,
you're going there and you're an ally and you support, but you're straight, that's fine. You don't even have to make it about anybody else. You can make it a self-fulfilling moment for yourself too, because I like to think of my community, our community, as a community of people who are accepting, welcoming, sharing.
yeah,
You know, they want to expand the pride we have as humans because that's what we've been fighting to be able to own.
yeah. So do you have any like anything that you would like to plug, like any like YouTube channels or anything you'd like to plug here?
Not at the moment. I'm kind of high and dry right now on anything good.
Oh,
But I would say, um, if you could, yeah, I got nothing.
okay. Well, I guess this is the end of the video. This is Rose B, and remember
And the other
to
worldly,
just oh yeah, Morgan too. Let's not forget about Morgan here.
nope.
It's like, oh yeah, Morgan's here too.
Yes,
But
I
this
am.
is Roseby. And remember, just be proud and you're valid and signing off, I guess.
Yay! Bye bye.